guys. So today I just wanted to jump on here and chit chat with you guys with one of the questions I've gotten quite often before, which is like, what is my perspective on what is a psychic? Hello. And I have covered this before in certain other videos before, but I'll touch base again, and I will open it up to Q&A in the comments during this live in the comments that I can answer if you're interested. And then once this makes its way over to YouTube, let me know some of your perspective on what a psychic is to you. I'm interested in hearing some of that from you guys, but this is gonna just be from my perspective, how I view it, from my angle of things. And just in case, I always like to put this out there, because now that I finally made the bold step to put my pages back on public, since in celebration of me getting my LLC, which I'm really excited about. The only business Instagram I have is Psychic Goddess Erica, spelled correctly. No extra letters, no underscores, no weird punctuation, no numbers, things like that. And the only other page I have is my personal page, which is going to be linked in the bio section of my business page. And the only place you can get a reading from me will be also listed in the bio, which is my website. I'm not going to contact you through DM. I do not use WhatsApp or Cash App or anything like that. I do not approach clients for readings in the DM or in comments of YouTube videos. So yeah, just know how to recognize the signs of one of the impersonators out there. And I actually have a video of that, on how to do that, on my YouTube also. So now that I got that out there, let's get started. So what does a psychic mean to me? Put very simply, because I really feel like a lot of the time people are expecting an overly romanticized version of what a psychic is, or overly Hollywood movie show type version of what a psychic is. Things like that. Exaggerated. Put quite simply, what a psychic means to me is someone who has very strong intuition. So it doesn't, to me, all these labels, all these terms that happen, they aren't really that important, because to me, all a psychic is someone who has really strong intuition. And some people can be more tapped in than others. You know, I feel like we're all born with intuition, and because of that, because when we're all born, and what I was taught is that the baby soft spot on the head is the connection to source, because it's coming through the crown chakra. So we have that knowledge, we all have that connection to spirit, to source, to creator. But over time, as we're being raised, as we're introduced to society and different other people's belief systems, different people's traumas and beliefs, and projected onto us as we're growing up, some people lose touch with that, while others kind of hold true and hold closer to it. So we all are born with abilities, but some of us kind of hold on to it more naturally over time. And so that's really all it is. It's a lot of the time people, again, they see these movies and think that psychics know everything, and they can tell you exactly what somebody's going to look like, you know, dates and times to exact nature, and that everything that happens is for sure going to happen if they're a good psychic. But that's not necessarily true, at least not in my experience, at least not in my belief. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a show that, I think it was a series that used to be on Netflix. I don't think it's up there anymore. I think it was called Medium. But that was probably one of the most accurate ways that I personally kind of tend to receive information and downloads, and a lot of people I know as well. So what I mean by that is, even in that show, it's not like whenever she received a vision or a dream, because a lot of my abilities started off as clairvoyant, which means you see things or you dream things up, kind of like premonitions, right? Or even even things from the past. It wasn't always future. Sometimes it was things happening in the present. Sometimes it was things in the past. So a lot of my abilities started off that way and then progressed to hearing things more, clairaudience, or just feeling things more, clairsentience or claircognizance, just knowing, like things like that. So that show, she would receive maybe a little vision, a snippet of something here, and a snippet of something there, but she didn't know exactly where something was. She didn't know exactly how things got to where that was. You know, it was like puzzle pieces. And that's kind of how I get things too. I don't know all of the specifics, and I will very clearly tell you guys, I may not always see all of the specifics, but I can get the overall energy of it. I can get the overall feeling of it, things like that. Now, that's not to say that there aren't people out there, that there aren't psychics out there that could possibly really give deep details of exactly when and where and what someone looks like. I have not met someone yet that is that kind of exact and specific. Hey, but so I'm not saying it's impossible, and if they are, let me know, because I would like a reading. But in my experience, it hasn't really been that way. And I feel like it's better that way, to be honest, because we also have to live life. We also have to live into the answers. If we knew everything, we are missing out on the most beautiful thing about being here, which is to live life and to learn and to grow and become who we are through these experiences. So I tell people all the time to use psychic readings as a navigation tool and understand that energy is always changing and that future is not set in stone. Always remembering that this present moment in the now is creating the future. So what you're doing right now, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what your beliefs are, the choices you make is going to impact your tomorrow, which will then continue to impact your future along the way. So when getting a psychic reading, at least again with me, what I'm seeing, what I'm sensing is based upon the energy of now and what maybe you had been doing leading up to this point. And what I'm seeing about the future is where it's likely to go based upon all of that. But can it change? Yes. Yes, it can. So this is why it's kind of good to just also come into reading with your own sense of self-awareness and discernment to know, you know, knowing that it's a navigation tool and knowing that still whatever is said is not set in stone. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. Also, every reader is going to have, I say it all the time, every reader is going to have different what's the word I'm for? Abilities, gifts. Every reader is going to pick up on different things at different times. Every reader may just have stronger points than others in certain areas. So make sure you are connecting with a reader that works for you. The same way you wouldn't go to a dentist to get your back fixed, or you wouldn't go to the lady doctor to get your eyes looked at. You're not going to go to one psychic for one thing if that is not their specialty versus another. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that people can't grow into more and new abilities. They can. You know, I have grown into stronger abilities in many different areas now over time, but when I first started off, it wasn't that way. So make sure you do your research in that regard to see who works for you. Me personally, and I continue to tell you guys, I prefer to read in the near future just because of the fact that I believe that the present moment is actually what's most important, and because of the fact that I believe that energy is always changing, that what's the point of me predicting 10 years from now when tomorrow is promised to no one? You know what I mean? So when I say near future, to me, I prefer to read the energy anywhere between now and a year. Can I read beyond that? Yes. Do I want to? No, for all the reasons I just said. So another important thing to remember is that when people want to know, okay, what's the difference between a medium and a psychic? All mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. So, for example, mediums are going to use psychic ability, which by my definition is really someone with really enhanced intuition, no matter how they receive it. It's they are still using psychic intuition to tap in to give the reading to connect to the spiritual world, or with a person who has transitioned to the great beyond, to give that reading to you. But not all psychics are mediums, whether that's by choice because they just don't want to do that, or because that's just not a strong point that they have developed at this time. I am a medium as well, but I don't advertise it because it's not something that I realize that it's not something that I can really like be like, okay, I'm gonna do a medium reading right now. That doesn't mean I won't or can't get to that point. Maybe I will. But for me, my mediumship works as, okay, so there's someone popping in over here and I'm gonna say something, but I can't necessarily call it in. I mean, I could, but it's not my strongest point to like try to call it in right now, if that makes sense. Hi, hey Sosa. So hopefully that makes sense. And I also wanted to say that, and please, if you're just joining in, let me know what your definition of what a psychic is. And I'm gonna say this if you missed the beginning, and I'm gonna put it up as I always do. I also wanted to say that with my definition of psychic being just that you have really strong intuition, to me, that does not matter if you use divination tools or not. To me, that doesn't matter what modality you practice. You know, you'll get people that will be like, oh, tarot readers are not psychics, they are tarot readers. Huh? Or you'll get people that think a psychic is just someone that channels information and has no tools, no divination tools. Huh? Like, yes, channeling is one form of receiving information, but a lot of the time we're always channeling when we're doing readings, regardless of if we're using divination tools or not, regardless of what modality. So, yeah, basically, to me, a psychic is using your intuition, someone with enhanced intuition who's really tapped in and tuned into it, regardless of if they're using divination tools or none at all. You know, I will go in and out of using tools within readings. I like divination tools because I'm a very touchy visual person, but I don't need them. I don't require them. I will still download information and deliver that. But you know how some people, they have to do something to jumpstart their day, like drinking coffee? You know, for some reason, sometimes shuffling the cards jumpstarts the downloads, or using a pendulum or a crystal ball or something like that just kind of jump starts the downloads, if that makes sense. Tell us what a psychic is not. A psychic is not someone who is lacking discernment. A psychic is not someone who is lacking that self-awareness or in touch to where they can trust their intuition and what it's telling them, basically. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. How can we use our psychic gifts? That's really up to you. It's custom. You know, you can use your psychic gifts to help others. You can use your psychic gifts to make choices for yourself on a day-to-day basis. You can use your psychic gifts to heal yourself, to relay information to help heal others, things like that. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's kind of up to you how you want to use it. And in the beginning, if you missed it, I was explaining how I feel like we are all born with abilities that some of us lose touch with along the way because of society and how we're brought up and things like that. So I would say to you guys to erase whatever view you think a psychic is because of TV or movies or things like that, and just understand that it's a person on the other end that has really strong intuition, but also remembering that whatever they say, whatever I say, is not set in stone, and that energy is always changing. So kind of using it as like a check and navigation tool rather than it being the end all be all for you and that's what it is and it's not going to change and things like that. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me think if there's anything else before I head out. Yeah, so that's all I've got really for you guys. So sorry if you just joined in. I'm about to log off, but I will save this live. Thank you so much for joining in. Remember to like this video and share it around to whoever you feel would benefit from this message. And once it ends up on YouTube, once you see it there, if you like to, please subscribe to my channel, and I will talk, and comment below once it's up, once it's posted, and I will talk to you guys another time. Bye.